tell you a story about a guy who thought that life would be easy. Not so easy was it for him. Let me tell you, life held other plans for him. And it ain't over yet. There ain't no light at the end of the tunnel.
You know, he sang that song for a reason. You're gonna find out very soon why. This is my friend Stephen Cook, and we've met a long time ago. We actually met in Costa Rica. How weird is that? And I just think it's the coolest connection. The fact that like we met in Costa Rica, how many years ago?
4?
Yeah, 4 years ago. You know, follow each other on Instagram. Stephen lives in Oceanside. I hit up Stephen and I said, hey Stephen, I want to learn more about Oceanside. I think it's a really cool beach community. I like real estate. I don't know the area like in detail, so I wanted to get a deep dive into it. And Stephen said, wow, I'm really like trying to get into real estate. And I thought it was gonna be a great just connection. He's a cool guy to hang out with. So tell us where you are now.
What are you like in life?
Yeah, no, not in life. Like, where are we now in your real estate journey?
Yeah, well, we are physically at a place that you just flipped, which is awesome. When do you close?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, incredible.
But how did we get that deal?
How did you get the deal? So I'm a wholesaler, and in this, I didn't actually have this one under contract, but that's the cool thing about being in real estate is the network that you have. There's lots of ways to get paid, of being involved. So essentially this was bringing Adam, an end buyer, to one of the wholesalers that I partner with, and essentially just connecting them. So there wasn't a lot of work for me, which was great. All the work was done elsewhere. I mean, you get obviously paid less, but you get paid, which is sweet. So that's how this kind of worked out on this home.
Yeah. All right, I have 5 questions here for Stephen. Stephen is a new wholesaler. I wanted to bring Stephen in because this is, what, your first deal?
Yeah.
It's the first deal he sold. Was this one he sold to me? It's really cool. So, first question, real quick. How long have you been doing it?
It's been 6 months.
6 months, see?
I stopped, I still am technically employed by the city of Oceanside as a beach lifeguard.
Local knowledge.
Which I've been doing for 16 years, is my hometown. But I stopped lifeguarding August, so I started September 2022.
Okay.
And I've been going full time at it.
All right. So my next question is, in 60 seconds or less, how's it going as a wholesaler?
It is difficult, to say the least.
Okay.
There is so much to learn, and there has been only difficulty and minor successes for me. I'm sure other people maybe like jump off the train and they're like running full speed and all this amazing stuff happens. And that's most of the stories that you hear on like podcasts and stuff. And so when you jump off the train and you hit the ground,
all your Instagram reels are just like bing, bing. They're like, I started wholesaling. Look, I made 50 grand in 30 days.
Yeah.
You're like, I want to do that.
Yeah. And then you jump off the train and you're like, not running, but you're like rolling off the train, getting dirty, like sticks and twigs like in your face and eye. Like, that's been the journey for me.
Yeah, okay. So, perseverance is your game right now.
It's the only game right now.
Okay. Have you thought about quitting?
Oh yeah. Oh
Okay.
yeah, I think about it every day, honestly.
Okay.
But I'll say the one thing that stops me from quitting is practicing Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Because there's a lot to be thankful for, and it keeps my mind understanding the greater perspective, and so I'm able to be thankful like that I have a car to drive around and door knock with. Like, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, and when I focus on the difficulty, like, certainly that makes me want to quit. And even thinking about the things I'm thankful for, it only reduces the desire to quit. It doesn't eliminate it.
I agree. I talk to Stephen a lot because I'm so interested. I don't know much about wholesaling. This is the first deal I've ever bought from a wholesaler. I've always bought like trustee sales, real estate agents, and I've door knocked a lot of homes, and that's how I've purchased them. So this is the first deal I've actually bought in 9 years from a wholesaler. I've always had a negative connotation towards it, but I really like Steven's approach to it. He's not here just to make money. Steven is here, and when you listen to him, he is here to help people, and wholesaling is an opportunity to help people. He doesn't he doesn't just try to come in and buy your house. He comes in, he says, hey, like, I can help you. Do you want a reverse mortgage if it's someone elderly? Do you need someone to help you refinance? Here's some options for you. Do you want a lease option to buy? Maybe he's doing sub 2 stuff. He's learning a lot about that. Or, his last option is like, some people are like, oh, I do just want to sell it. So
one of the reasons why it's been so rough is honestly because of helping people. I know it sounds so silly, and there's probably a lot of wholesalers out there that are making a lot more money because their goal is to get the person to sell it to them. And that's just a really hard thing for me to do when I know that there's other options for them. And so maybe I'm not the best wholesaler. Maybe I should quit because there's so many other options that I help people through. But dude,
so what are your goals this year?
my goal this year,
or it doesn't have to be this year. What is your goal like?
Yeah.
What's your next goal? Tell me your next goal.
Well, what about I tell you like why I'm in it?
Oh, okay, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Why are you in it?
Why I'm in real estate, which is probably a lot of people's reason, is to build wealth. But the goal that's not even the end goal. Like we met on a missions trip in Costa Rica.
Yes.
Through an organization called Boy with a Ball, and they work in like impoverished parts of Costa Rica, and I love living abroad. I love being involved in different ministry organizations, and so my desire is to be able to do that and to have that be self-funded, which there's nothing wrong with being a funded missionary. I think that's incredible, and I would love to be able to have the wealth to give as well, but also to be able to self-fund and raise kids with an understanding of like how to manage wealth in a way that is selfless. And so that's my aim, is to be able to build wealth through real estate in that way. That's the end goal. But to get there, you have to have intermediary goals. And so one of my goals is to own at least one door by the end of 2023. Somehow.
High five that, doggy. I think you got it wired.
If you can find deals,
you're gonna get it. I get it. Like, I mean, hey, I'm a Bigger Pockets big fan. Almost everything I've learned is from that podcast. And he just, Birdie Brandon always says like, hey, you gotta just push, right? You're pushing, you're moving forward, you're not getting success, but eventually that ball starts moving downhill. And it's the truth. Like when I started, it was not easy, and I kept pushing a little bit, and I had 2 other jobs actually, and I still have that one of those jobs, and I'm pushing, but now I've got the roll, and I'm rolling, and then that ball is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's cool. And now it's my encouragement to you is to just not quit, because I love your goal. That the thing is, you just want to be generous with whatever you can make and build wealth for. You're building wealth for really not you. You really want to build wealth for the kingdom of God, which is amazing. And I find that like amazing, and I love it, and I love your heart in that. So that's really cool.
Thanks, bro.
All right, so that's your end goal. What's your goal for the end of the month?
The end of the month is it's hard to make a goal to have something closed by the end of the month, because some, like the one that I have under contract now, has to go through probate and stuff like that. So I would say by the end of the month, get
more deals.
Yeah, at least 2 more under contract. And then
in order to get those 2 deals, what are you gonna do? What's your goal? How do you get there? Is it just driving more miles, or?
I'm kind of getting I've driven so much in the last like couple of days, and even while I'm driving, I try to include extra doors. So I'll show up to a totally thrashed house, and it's like a tax foreclosure house, and there's maybe 1 or 2 across the street that are also completely, I don't know, they look like a fire would help the situation. And so I'll go and knock on those doors and just say, hey, how's it going? I'm looking at some houses in the area and just wondered what your plans are with yours. How long you guys been living here? and generate a conversation from there. And there's been 2 instances where they actually are in the process of selling currently, and I'm like, crap, if I would have been here, if I would have just knocked this door a month ago, then that could be me. Well, but it affirms the fact that I should be continually knocking on these doors.
I'm gonna tell you a quick story that happened to me. On the way here, I'm on my computer, I'm doing some stuff, I'm typing, right? I'm hitting here, and this guy keeps calling me, and he was doing an open house across the street from this place. And I know he wanted to sell it, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna show the open houses just because Matt's learning, we actually sold this property by ourselves. So anyway, I answered his phone call, I was like, hey, how's it going? He's like, hey, I have a deal for you. I said, hot dang. I was like, tell me the numbers, let me do, you know, I hit the computer, doing the whole setup. And it's a deal. It's a pretty good deal.
Wow.
And it's just from someone I met across the street. And so I think you're gonna end up finding more people like that are like across the street. Oh, I met you 6 months ago. I met you 8 months ago. Because I get those phone calls all the time because I've been doing it for so long.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've been doing it for 7, 8 years. I get a random phone call like, hey, do you still do this? Or like, hey, I have a deal for you.
Mm-hmm.
So don't be discouraged with that. I think you're just putting more of a network together, even if it's those sellers. So, you know, that was just a thought that came to my head, and you're like, oh, this person or that person. Don't be bummed on that. That time is not wasted. So, yeah.
Dude, thanks. That's encouraging me.
You know, this is the reality of life. It's not easy, but you're putting the work in, you're learning a ton, and he's got a positive attitude, which I think is the most important thing. You're gonna be kicked down. Real estate is full of just like disappointment. You're gonna have offers and deals, and then fall out of escrow and all this stuff. There's so many things in between, so don't get discouraged. Keep going and don't quit. I don't see Steven quitting. I asked him, even though I knew the answer, he's not gonna quit. Guys, does he look like a quitter? He might like adjust. I think he might adjust.
Yeah.
Maybe redirect. Or, I don't know.
Well, I don't have an intention of quitting at this moment. You know what I mean? Whereas like sometimes life circumstances change and you just have to adjust. In some way. You know, that could be anything. Someone dies and you have to this isn't like in my situation, but someone like maybe in your family like passes away and you have to take up a job that doesn't allow you to do it anymore so you can provide in some way or whatever. But like right now I have no intention of quitting. I don't want to go back to having a W-2 job. I like I'm not making any money, but I certainly like the flexibility.
We're gonna try to change that. All right, so 2 last questions. What advice would you give someone starting? And 2, how do we find more about you and your business?
Yeah, I would say my advice when it comes to getting things under contract is, be stoked you got something under contract, but don't celebrate. Don't truly celebrate until escrow closes. Because as Adam said, anything can happen in the meantime, and stuff comes out of nowhere that comes out of the woodworks with
escrow
title, that you just never saw before, that you couldn't have seen. And so celebrate when you have cash in hand.
I've for sure. I mean, that's good advice, because I'll be in a deal and I'm like, this is killer, and then they're like, oh, there's another trustee on it, and you're like, so, and blows up your deal or something. You never know.
But it doesn't mean you can't be stoked that you got the first step.
Because that took a lot of work to get there. You drove there, you talked to them, you convinced them, you wrote a contract, I mean, you practiced writing a contract, you did all those steps. It's a lot of steps to get there. Someone on this video is going to tell us, like, don't you know it's easier to do like this, chump? You know? And I'm like, yeah, well, we're a chump. We're chumps.
I'm a chump. Yeah,
I'm a chump for sure. And there's always, like, new ways to skin a cat, which I'm down to learn. So hit us in the comments below if you want to teach us something new.
Totally.
And how do we find out more about you?
I have a super professional Instagram page.
Sick.
Not at all.
No. Go to your personal one is very funny. He's also a comedian.
Yeah, I don't have a professional Instagram page. We have our business Instagram page, which is Invest with Evergreen, which is, I didn't even talk about that, but me and my partner, Lindsay Johnson, started a business called Evergreen Investments. Our website and our Instagram is Invest with Evergreen, investwithevergreen.com. If you want to send me an email, who does that? Do people do that?
Yeah, someone send him an email. If you got a deal or something and it's in San Diego County, Orange County, shoot, LA County,
AS.
I mean, homeboy's looking to drive. So
That's true, yeah.
you know,
100%.
send him a deal.
Yeah.
Send him some.
Out of
So-
state even, certainly. We can do stuff
Look at this
over the
guy.
phone.
I mean, he's
Yeah.
saying out of state.
I might not drive. I might have to fly.
Yeah, but send us a deal.
As long as you fund the flight. No, just kidding.
And the last thing is
Wait, I
he's
didn't-
gonna. Oh, okay, go ahead.
Well, I gotta get my email for them to give that to me.
Oh, okay, give your.
asc3.rei@gmail.com. And then my Instagram, my personal video
Yes,
blog. Steven likes to cook. All one word.
Do you like to cook?
I do like to cook, but it's also a play on words because my name is Steven Cook.
Holy buckets, that's awesome.
So,
All right, can you just exit with a song for us?
sure.
This is my staging guitar. He just tuned it real quick because it would look sick in there.
Don't give up, the road gets hard. I know you wanna quit right now. Don't put in the towel that you have in your hand. Use it to wipe the sweat off your brow.
Oh! I didn't know it was gonna be that good. That's great. The end.